Come one, come all. It's time to grow. Welcome to the Dorian Adams Motivation Show. On this channel, we focus on the 5 pillars of balance stemming from faith, family, finance, friends, and fitness. We talk about those things for the most part, but we will go over other topics of discussion as well. Tonight, I'm honored to be in the presence of at least 2 brothers right now on the call. 3. We got Terrell in there, we got Aaron, and we got John. I want to welcome y'all brothers. Everybody know the topic. I sent the topic out, the link to the Zoom, and we decided to dive in on 2 words. And those 2 words is picking sides. So to warm it up just a little bit, do a little table dressing. When I think about picking sides, I think about so many different things, right? And this is just to say, let's not be handcuffed and one-track minded about where we decide to take the topic. When you think about picking sides, if I want to just go there and just use something so simple as red or blue, that's picking a side. Now, it may have different indications and ramifications depending on what we exactly talking about, but it's that simple. Drill down, find something, whatever it may be, and let's start talking about picking sides. What that means to you. Where do you find areas that picking sides is something that you know you doing, whether you choose to or not? You know what I mean? And let's have some fun with it.
Well, I gladly start us off. Good evening, everybody. So choosing sides. I think oftentimes we are given sort of an ultimatum when it comes to different situations and ideas where we are given 2 choices to pick. Most of the time it's 2 choices. That's just kind of how things play out. And we feel compelled to choose one. And there's 2 things that we do, or there's 2 things that you could do. You could look to see where most people are choosing. That is where most people are choosing to side on because of, sort of that collective thinking, and wherever the emotional argument is heavily weighted. Or you can choose to critically analyze both points and see what most fits you. And then there's really a third one, which is to take a step back and ask the question, are these the only 2 options? So when I think of choosing sides, I immediately go to the third one and go, well, why are these my only 2 options? And I think we see examples of this on social media and throughout society all the time. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. I mean, for instance, we have a 2-party political system, Republicans and Democrats, and it's like, okay, these are my only 2 options. They're both shits. So I don't want to choose that. Well, you can take a step back, think for yourself. And so I guess what I'm really saying there is I think it's important to cross-analyze all different arguments and points before you actually choose what it is that you want to believe. Because when you decide to believe something, you're embodying that belief. And you kind of, or most people end up choosing a hill to die on that they wouldn't have otherwise chosen if they were more aware of the knowledge. So what I do is, and I'm still pretty young now. I'm only 23, but just a few years ago, I would hear different points on different situations in the world, and I would immediately, or far too quickly, than what I should have, choose a side. And that's what, like, basically all of my beliefs at that time. And as I've gotten older and a little wiser, I've realized that I didn't actually believe a lot of the things that I was walking around telling people that I believe. It's actually a bit embarrassing to a certain degree. And it took some humility and integrity and even a bit of courage for me to step back from all of those beliefs and uh and to say, well, I'm gonna spend my time and the rest of my life actually trying to figure out what it is that I believe. And what comes with that is patience and the willingness to spend the time to actually learn, because there's a lot to learn about a lot of different things. So yeah, I guess moral of the story, you should you shouldn't feel rushed into choosing a side, you know, when it comes to being given an ultimatum, unless of course it's like some dire, immediate, in the moment situation where it's like save this person or save that one, where it's some like hypercritical ethical type of thing. That that's to each his own with that one. But generally speaking, I think it's important that we give ourselves time to think, because when you think, you can actually sort things out. But when you hurry up and choose out of fear of being pilloried or put under that eye of scrutiny, well, you end up in a place that you probably didn't want to be, whether that be psychologically or physically.
So, quick question: Would you, if without being in a dire situation, would you say that you would consciously pick a side of whatever the item may be, and knowing picking that side could ultimately lead you into a life or death situation?
Well, I think I get what you're saying. I mean, yeah, that's why I say, I mean, depending on the nature of the choice that we're making, being a life-changing decision or one not so much, it's important to step back and kind of weigh the information out to see what's important. I agree completely. Yeah, because some decisions, unbeknownst to you, could have life-altering effects, or maybe even effects that can't be reversed. And this is a very abstract way of talking about this, because we're not talking about anything specific, but you know, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, but we can. We can. It's available. It's
Yeah.
available. What you got, bro? You got something on that, Aaron?
Most definitely, you most definitely. Um, so I was thinking, I was sitting there listening to you, and the thing that came to my mind is when we were adolescents, we were young, we often rode on the seesaw. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. And it depends on what side you pick. If that kid bigger than you might just be stuck up. Or you might be, if you bigger, you might just be stuck down. And so, you had to always pick somebody who was going to match you to help you balance balance it out, right? Picking sides is not always a bad thing. And I would say there's a there's a there's a famous poet named Pablo Freire. He said the oppressed haven't internalized the image of the oppressor are fearful of freedom. And I look at that in the same sense of picking sides. When we're so bound up in life, we fail to be able to pick a side, and we ultimately end up being stuck down, stuck in the same downtrodden, broken place that our mamas and our daddies and our grandmamas and everybody else was stuck in, because we failed to pick when we had the opportunity. Opportunity passes us every day. Opportunity is on the left, it's on the right, and if we open our eyes to it, that's picking a side. That's choosing to lift ourselves up and to go further and go higher and go higher. But a lot of times we fail to do anything at all. We fail to we sit right there in the middle and think that we can just sit on the pin, sit on the fence and straddle it and hope that something good is going to happen. At the end of the day, like you said, Dorian, we gotta pick a side, no matter what. We can never just sit there and and try to stay in the middle, and we can't teeter on both sides. One side or the other is going to work for you, and until you take that leap, you'll never know which side is right for you. Sometimes we look at failures, we look at not being successful as failing, but not being successful is the matter of not trying. Because when you lose or when you falter, that's a lesson learned. That's not a failure. That's a lesson learned. Now I got a new opportunity to do something great with the information I just gained. So I always encourage anybody, pick that side, take that side, run with it. And if it doesn't work, the opportunity is going to be there again. Go through that other door, and you'll see it. It'll be great for you.
So,
I like that. I understand what you're saying.
mhm,
You know, from a neurological perspective, we have something called the neocortex, the frontal cortex. It's the part of our brain that's responsible for executive decision making, which will be making decisions, choosing. Do I want this? Do I want the chocolate cupcake or do I want the vanilla cupcake? For decision making, as simple as that. And with the little bit of research that I've done, when it comes to making decisions, people that are people that were raised and have had positive feedback from making decisions, that is, people that have been rewarded for their ability to make decisions that worked out for them, are more likely, a lot more likely, to continue to be confident to make decisions in the future. And on the opposite end, people that have made decisions that have resulted in them getting an undesired outcome, are less likely to be confident to make those same decisions. Um, I completely agree with the fact that you do ultimately have to make decisions in life, because if you don't, like you said, you get stuck in sort of that self-fulfilling prophecy. And and that can be very bad. So I guess I'd add on to my previous comments that, you don't want to spend forever contemplating what the best decision is, because at the end of the day, you won't really know what the best decision is until after making one and learning from it. Like you said, it's you do it and then you learn from it. But that is a matter of interpretation, because not everyone learns from their experiences, and those people struggle a bit more than people that do tend to try and take the knowledge and wisdom from failed experiences to move forward and make better ones. So I think I completely agree with that. You do have to make decisions, but it's important to um to not get stuck thinking about them for too long, but to also give them a little thought. Because me personally, I'm not a big fan of suffering unnecessarily. I was talking with you, Dorian, earlier about the curse of perfectionism that I have, and I understand it completely, and I can only brush it off so much. But I do know that giving a certain level of preparation, whether it be for thought or physical things, are can be very useful rather than jumping in. And I don't think that's what you were saying, Aaron. I'm just kind of adding my 2 cents on it. But from what I know from the neuroscience literature, it's a matter of positive feedback. And for people that are unable to make decisions or struggle with sort of stepping outside of their box, it comes down to a certain level of risk taking and preparation, and more importantly, understanding of yourself. So I guess I just end that there.
so can I throw this out there?
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
Why do we pick sides? Nutshell. We're gonna speed this up. Why do we pick sides in the first place?
Normally it's because of something that we like. one side fits us. It matches our energy. It matches where we are in the moment. You know, it's kind of funny because they say men are not emotional, but I say that that's a lie. I say we're very emotional because when it comes to choice, we run our choices a lot of times off of the emotion that we feel, not the logic that we understand. And people fail to realize that our ability to pick something, we can say it was as logical. We can give you 10,000 reasons why it was logical, but then when you ask us what the real foundation of that of doing such thing was, I guarantee you it was an emotional feeling, and we were trying to satisfy something for the moment.
Would you call that kind of lightweight self-gratification?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay. John, you agree with that?
Self-gratification, intuition. Yeah, yeah.
So that was the first question. Why do we pick a side in the first place? I would go so far as to say we pick a side because we got a choice. We pick a side based on, you said it, emotion, got some type of emotional, got some type of value associated with it for you, because it might maybe what you saw somebody else getting out of that situation, right? So I'm trying to mirror that. Some people call it keeping up with the Joneses in some instances. You got
Oh yeah.
a Mercedes, I got a Mercedes, right? I would even go so far as to say we pick a side sometime because you got a Mercedes. I'm not gonna try to jock you like that. I'm gonna get a vet. I'm gonna get a Lexus, right? So we picking sides in that way. But the funny thing is that sometimes we get so wound up in that. If it's a football team, basketball team, right? Now I'm gonna go there because guess what? I'm a fan. I like the team. My team, I done picked it. They winning. But here's the deal. A joker could come and not like your team. He with another team. And now y'all in a bitter discussion about this and ready to go to blows because of the side you picked. We're going to break it down like that. That's picking sides.
Oh yeah.
Somebody just mentioned, I think John mentioned it. Is this the hill you want to die on? Right? So I would say picking sides sometimes can be fluid. It needs to be fluid. If you can reach fluidity in your thought process and how you analyze stuff in the moment, because I might have a fancy for the side. I think at the same time too, what happens is that I get so walled off into that position that this is the hill I'm gonna die on now because I refuse to let it go.
Mm-hmm.
And I pick a side too sometimes because I don't even understand the other side.
Thanks.
I don't understand it. Right? We can go off into race. I pick a side in some respects because I'm way more familiar with people of my skin tone, people that talk like I talk, because I could talk for a minute on the phone with somebody until they of my same kind of breed or caliber, how you want to look at that. I can tell, and we end up vibing on a certain level just because we're able to communicate.
Exactly.
Right. And so, yeah, I'm going to gravitate towards that. But what about the times when we come into contact with somebody who picked the other side and we just fail to bridge the gap and make the connection just because we don't know, we misunderstand the other side or whatever it is, and we find no value in connecting. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So picking a side, would there be value in not having a side?
I mean, self-awareness, man, we can always learn from people. I think even people that are on the polar opposite side, like you said, there's always something to be learned, even if it's just to help solidify the fact that you're on the side that you're on. So, I mean, like he said, you choose a side, and then after that, you can learn whether or not that's the side you want to stick with, or if you make the correct or the best decision. I think I just lost my train of thought, but yeah, it'll come back to me in a second.
Yeah, hold on, hold on. We're gonna hope you pick back up. But watch this. Piggybacking on the football analogy, right? Two guys, two different teams. What is the objective? Right? This my team. Every year we suit up. We done did preseason. We done pick new players and everything like that. Guess what? We got a new coach. Right? The ultimate objective is for us to get to the Super Bowl, to the big game, and win. We want to be the champions. We trying to make it to the big dance, right?
Right.
Ultimately, that's the big objective. Both teams are fired up about their coach. They fired up about their players. They fired up about their system. I believe at that point, I'm bought in. I didn't pick this side because I feel like we have the team that's going to get to the goal. Can you tell me if there are other situations where you have picked a side because you feel like it is going to get you to the goal? You picked a thought process because you feel like this is optimal for me to reach my goal.
I mean, I think that's what everyone's doing. I mean, every decision that a person's made with regards to believing some ideology or a belief system, or to turn right in your car instead of left. I mean, you think you're taking a shortcut to your destination, so you go that way. And whether or not it was, you found out. But I think that's kind of how we're built, is to make decisions that are in our best interest, even though a lot of the times they're not. But I mean, that's kind of everybody with everything. I mean, you have those minority of people that are self-destructive and going through whatever it is, and they make decisions that are quite obviously not going to result in the best outcome. But I think they are a minority. So yeah, I think that's what we all do.
If you was responsible with helping somebody that picked another side get to the goal, because once again, it's about, I'm thinking on the level of bridging. I'm thinking on the level of bridging choices. How would you connect with somebody? Say, for instance, like the All-Star game. Now we different sides usually, but now we all on the same team against the other guys or whatever. But just saying, how would you bridge that gap? Because first of all, we're gonna pick different sides, but we know we ultimately both trying to get to the same place.
So,
Right?
I'm smiling because this is my alley right here. I
Let's
live in
go,
this alley.
Allie.
So, I live by these three pillars, okay? And these three pillars, they reflect in every relationship that you have, whether it's with your brother and your sisters, your mom, your dad, your wife, your girlfriend. You need these three pillars as your foundation. That's trust, it's communication, it's intimacy. And intimacy means intimate. You see, that means you understand me innately. That means you understand my inner operations, how I think, how I move, what the things that make me move, the things that make me not move. That's what intimacy is. It's true. It's deep. And the thing is when you're lacking any of those, it's impossible for you to really get along. It's impossible for you to stay afloat because if I don't trust you, my communication with you is going to be lacking, and my intimacy is going to be gone. I'm not willing to go deep into the trenches with you. If I don't, even if I trust you, but I'm not intimate with you, that means I'm not really communicating with you on a level for you to understand me enough for you to be that close to me.
Yeah, we still at arm's distance. Yeah.
So if at any time when those things are lacking, it's impossible for you to really build that relationship and grow it the way you want it to grow. And the thing is when somebody's on the other side, there's none of that. It's not there. But it can be built. I don't have to like you, like your thought process in order for me to have love and respect and admiration for you. Because you see it all the time. Here's a perfect example. They talked about Dr. King and Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali and these great figures we had in the past. And a lot of these great figures were revered by white men and white women, and they chose to come to their aid in their times of despair, even though they didn't like the skin color of them, but they liked them because they were their favorite boxer. Oh, they were a good speaker.
Mhm.
Oh, I don't like he's Muslim. I don't like no Muslim, but you know what? That Malcolm X, he shows speaking right though. They doing us wrong. I'm gonna fight with you because I believe in what you're doing. And it's those little connections, those little things that start to make us connect. And so you talk about how do I bridge that gap with somebody on the other side? It's finding that common ground. Like you
Come on.
said, the football.
Come on.
If you like the Niners, and I'm a Packer fan, so I don't like the Niners, but I
Mhm.
don't got no problem with they fan because I'm a football fan first.
Right.
See, that's the difference for me. The common ground is football.
Mhm.
You may like the Niners. I'm a Packers fan. But hey, let's talk football exactly. Oh, okay. Hey, let's talk about hey, who got the baddest running backs? All right, who got the baddest quarterback? All right, what about this? What about that? Hey, you see this defense though? Y'all stacked. Oh, y'all definitely go out the number one defense this year. It's the ability to see the good even in a bad situation that turns it to make it like glue
Mhm.
because you're talking about the commonalities that you got together and you're not talking about the differences. That's that's my alley right there, like I said.
I like that. I agree completely. I mean, I would also extend the notion that I don't think that trust can exist without intimacy. I think that those
No.
two are intertwined. I mean,
Hmm.
imagine, you know, when it comes to intimacy, there has to be a degree of vulnerability and trust. There has to be a degree of sacrificing of your own ego before you can, it's a risk, which means that you're trusting. You're giving them the trust that they're not going to take advantage of you in whatever way it will be, just on that specific level.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, I mean they're intertwined. I mean, yeah.
Mhm. So
I
yeah,
call
I
those the
have,
three
I have
pillars
one
of
more
life right
thing.
there.
I had
yeah.
one more thing, but I lost my train of thought again. I'm not good with keeping all of my ideas together.
Hey, you got
Sometimes you
hey
just
just
gotta blurt
hey
it
just throw
out.
it in the chat. Just throw it in
Yeah.
the chat next time it's on your head. Just throw it in the chat so you can get it right back.
Or
So
write them down, something.
Yeah.
how about this, y'all? It's a lightweight confession, but I guess it's to let y'all know something that's been really heavy on my mind, and picking sides is a part of it. Is how spiritually we all pick a side
Oh
for
yeah.
the most part. I ain't blaming. I ain't saying you could be an exception to the rule on the call. I get it, but for the most part, it's hard for me to find somebody that don't have some type of spiritual connection. And the reason I went there with it is to ask if y'all can help me. Because I'm seeking to find where I've identified already that there's multiple denominations of certain religions, but everybody say they want the same thing.
Mm.
Then you got the so-called other side. That guy, these guys over there, they picked another religion, right? But like the football analogy, we all want the same thing, right or wrong?
Right.
So, and then here, I'm gonna do a rewind right quick and I'm gonna bring it right back. Picking a side came out of a conversation I had with a sister. And we was talking, just vibing like crazy. And ultimately, she came at me one day and said, Dorian, you fire, you strong as hell. She said, but you're gonna be even more powerful when you pick a side. I didn't have no comeback for it right then, but I knew something was irritating me about that, right? And what, like I say, that was the birth of the thought process that I arrived at. And what I ended up saying to myself is, what side God gonna choose?
Mm-hmm.
And once again, I felt like if that's the ultimate destination, then everybody damn near right. I can't say that for sure, like you gonna have a different opinion or he gonna have a different opinion or whatever. The point being is that, am I able to find a way to bridge the gap between the lines that exist when I know we all trying to get to the same thing? So
Well,
that's
I mean,
confession. That's what I'm putting that out there for y'all. Like,
I appreciate the the honesty, the vulnerability. I would say, I mean, to a certain degree, if you truly believe in God, then your path is somewhat already it's already predetermined. It's just a matter of actualizing who it is and what it is that you're supposed to be doing. I don't at all mean to imply that it's going to be easy or that you're going to hear the specific step by step, but I think it comes down to, like you were saying earlier, a bit of intuition and, you know, I wouldn't say gratification, but emotional connection and having that connection with your higher self or with God, um, from that perspective. So it's extraordinarily difficult to know which side to pick when you don't know which one is right. But I think personally it comes down to not choosing the easy way out of certain situations, whether it be a social situation, a mental situation, or even um, a physical a physical difficulty, like lifting weights. Am I gonna go low weight, high rep today, or are we gonna get heavy? So it's a matter of actualization, knowing that your path is predetermined to some degree. Because if you wanted to mess things up, I'm sure we could all figure out exactly how to completely destroy our lives, but we don't. So
mm-hmm.
it's a lot of things, but those are a few.
Man, Dorian. Hey, I definitely appreciate you letting us know where you at and how you feel, man. You know, I'll say that I've been through this. I've been through this many a times, and I definitely understand how you feel. And I remember when I went through this, there was a sermon that I found on YouTube by Bishop Jamal Bryant, and the sermon was I want you to fail. I hope you fail. And it was like I was like, why would like what? Like who's gonna say that they want you to fail, right? But it was very profound because he read from Luke chapter 22 and 31, and it said, Simon, Simon, the devil is wants to swift you as wheat, but I'm praying for you. I'm praying that your faith doesn't fail. And the thing that he talked about is that is, and like you said, picking sides. God never said that you won't fail, but he's asking that your faith in him doesn't fail.
Mm.
And that's why the faith that you're allowed to have is the size of a mustard seed. You don't need much. So it doesn't matter how much you believe that you failed or that you're not close or that you're not where you want to be. The fact that he's on your mind, he's on your thought, and you're here where you are today is more than enough. And when I opened up my Bible app, this is what it talked about today. It said, it said Deuteronomy 31:6, and it said, be strong and of good courage. Do not fear, nor be afraid. For the Lord your God, he is the one who goes with you, and he will not leave you nor forsake you. And that's all you have to remember is when you pick your side, like John just said, the footsteps have already been marked for you. It's just your job to step in them.
So
That's
I'm gonna
it.
tell you, you know what I like about that? Well, it's a question kind of, but the thing is, if I find value in what you just said, period, do it matter what book it was wrote in?
No, it doesn't. It
You
doesn't because
feel me?
God speaks to any one of us and all of us at the same time. You know,
Right.
I ran into, like I said, I ran into that same situation and I was like, God, like, you know, people talk about this religion, that religion, and this and the third. And the one thing that God said to me, there's truth in everything.
Mm.
There's
I
truth in
agree.
everything.
Yeah.
Like literally, he said it to me so clear that like I never forgot it. And I was like, you know, so when I listen to people, you can hear the truth. Your mind knows how to decipher the truth, and it knows how to decipher, oh, that's some malarkey right there.
Right.
Next.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't remember the stuff that's malarkey, you literally brush it away. It has no, it doesn't even, it's like your body and your spirit just repels it. But the stuff that gets your mind to question, that's good. The stuff that gets you to thinking, that's good. Because the more that I can get you to think, the stronger you become. Like John just said, hey, am I gonna go low weight, high reps? Or am I gonna go high weight, low reps? So when you think about it, if I give you something that got you thinking, and you struggling with it, that must have been some heavy weight and it was just one thing, low reps, but it's heavy. But if I give you something that you constantly keep spitting off your mind, oh, that means it must be a lightweight, heavy rep day. It's something that your spirit wants to play with, wants to give out, wants to dish. And you gotta take it. There's truth in everything. Not everybody is lying to you, but not everybody's telling you the truth.
Right.
There's truth in everything.
You gotta wrestle with that for yourself.
That's
Um,
it.
you made me think about um a entry that I put in my book, and I feel like it rings so true. Just to say it in this discussion, I talked about the creator in the book and how it's so amazing that he's took me through a process since I remember. And that process involved a metamorphosis. And I put in the book that just like a caterpillar turned into a butterfly, God took me through that metamorphosis time and time and time and time again, right? And each time I changed, each time I became a bigger, better, more developed, more evolved iteration of my former self, right? And that's what for me, when I think about that, I think about you saying truth. My truth actually changed over time because I didn't know as much about the truth as I did then as I did later.
Exactly.
Right. And so just for me to lean into that metamorphosis, to keep that in my mind, because the reason why that's so profound to me is who in the hell else designed caterpillar, larvae, cocoon, butterfly? Who do that? So while they playing, I need them to wake their game up and slap themselves with that one, because it ain't no joke. When you see that coming, you need to actually recognize in the moment, bruh, that wasn't man-made. And the one that did it got this.
That's
right?
facts.
Hearing you say that, it just hit me just like that. Like, man, I'm seeking the truth. That's what you said. You have to be willing. You have to be willing to ask questions and look deeper. You know what I mean? When I was a kid, I did childish things. I'm going to put that to the side because of the fact that I'm still here and history says, metamorphosis, I'm on something else next.
Indeed.
And he got me. That's why I keep getting woke up. So
hey, it's the red car effect.
There you go.
The red car effect.
You looking for it, right?
You looking
Seek and
for it,
you
you're gonna
shall
see it
find.
everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
So
Knock and it shall be open.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's that
That's
fire.
it.
You know?
That's it.
And so once again,
that's why you pick sides.
Right. And I mean, like I said, don't get me wrong, I feel like it's fair in a way. You know what I mean? But I feel like at the same time as being fluid, it just allows me to be more open to understand, have empathy for the next person, their side, their choice. Like, why did they make that choice? Because guess what? Chevy is a good brand. Dodge is a good brand. We all just trying to roll.
That's
you
it.
know what I'm saying? And so the whole thing is understanding that, guess what? As I look at that other brand, that other side that I can pick, is there a value to it that make any sense? You know what I mean? Because it makes sense for me to pick the side that I'm picking. Why can I not identify with the other person for picking the side that they feel like is going to get them where they're trying to go? So that's why I said kind of fluid in the sense that I need to be able to identify with, like we talked about earlier, with the goal.
Yep.
Right? In order to understand the person that picked the damn side.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's it. That's it. Find common
John,
ground.
since you the young guy on the call, John, I'm gonna pick on you. What side you on now?
Shit, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I'm on the side of greatness.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, now y'all feeling good, man.
I feel great. Feel great.
Great.
You did this.
Yeah,
There's some
that's
good
what's up.
stuff for me.
You know,
I will
Definitely.
say that I was able to remember those two separate things that I forgot, but they're a bit it'll be a bit disconnected from what you were just saying. So open to be changed. That was one of them. You know, when we talk about choosing a side and being capable of learning from whatever that decision was, I think it's important that once you do choose a side, you stay, like you said, fluent and ambiguous, so that if it is the case that you are wrong or that your perspective isn't quite as robust as it could be, that you're open to alternative interpretations, or let's say add-ons to to solidify and sort of harden what it is that you already know, just to stay open-minded. So that's sort of connected to what you were just saying. And then the other one was you know, it's precisely those shared goals, or the shared commonality that in which creates the foundation for relationships. And I think when you talk about trying to understand why someone is on the opposite side as you, for the purpose of perhaps finding that they have the same goal as you, but see that there's a different method of getting there. Now, I think there's real value in that because oftentimes we create a non-existing polarization between us and other people by not giving ourselves the time, like I said in the beginning, to actually think and understand what it is that's taking place in front of you. And if you don't have your emotions or your ego in check, you can easily uh, push things away or create a dichotomy that ends up permanently leaving you on a hill that you didn't need to die on. I think there's far more potential in people and in our environment, like you said, the red car effect, than what we give credit to. I just think it comes down to what your intentions are. So
Mhm.
I could go on forever, but yeah.
Hey, I agree, man. I agree with John. And I say, this is my motto, and it's aspire to be inspired.
Hmm.
Aspire to be inspired. Every day, every moment, every second, there is somebody out there that can inspire us too, even though we are in the midst of encouraging and inspiring others. So I always tell people, you know, my name is Duncan Inspires, and I aspire to be inspired because just talking to people and and gives new fuel, gives new fire, gives new flame, new energy, new gas is lit. So that way I can be able to I channel that and I can thrive off that. I look at it just like this. Everybody remembers Dr. Martin Luther King's speech, the I Have a Dream speech, right? Was that his speech though? Is the real question. Was that his speech?
He the one
If
I
you
heard
know,
say it.
that he didn't write that, somebody said it. I have a dream, and then he was so inspired by it
Mm.
that it just the fire kept going. So I always like John just said, you got to be willing to learn. You got to be willing to learn those new things. So you got to aspire to be inspired.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Amen.
So nah, that's it. That's a mic drop, bro. That's a mic drop. Um, that's it. I love it. I love it. And and that's where I like a lot of these calls. And me and John talked about that before too, about just setting the stage for a conversation to be had that won't get had on the corner. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And typically, and the thing of it is that we grown as men. If we really seeking, we're gonna set the stage to seek. We're gonna set the stage for discovery to happen in our lives more often than not. Because guess what? If you're not setting the stage for discovery, you're setting the stage for idleness. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
some frivolity to take place, because that's all that's gonna happen if you're not seeking. You just wait when you listen to the person sitting next to you, waiting for him to say something. You don't expect nothing because you ain't setting the stage for it. And it ain't about what they say; it's about what you say. So you need to
Hmm.
embrace that, or I do. I need to
Yeah.
embrace that I have the opportunity to do X, Y, and Z because I have breath in my body.
Yeah.
It ain't I'm gonna wait for somebody else to say something else. I ain't gonna wait for Aaron to say something inspiring, but I'm gonna keep him around me because I know what he got in him.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Now keep the cat around me that you might have it in you, but what you own ain't gonna produce that.
Hmm.
I'm gonna try to kind of keep you out my, you know what I mean? I'm gonna keep something closer to my chest that's gonna get me closer to where I'm trying to go.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So we set the stage with these conversations just to dig a little bit deeper, get deeper than that surface layer. You know what I mean? What they call that, John, I think you spoke the word ambiguity, right? Somebody
Hmm.
say something is surface, but it's way more meaning to it if you allow yourself the opportunity to dive deeper than the surface. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Jack could say, how you doing, bro? Where did that come from? Like, once again, the people coming in out the street or whatever it is, and you take a second to say, that wasn't for me, because I didn't say nothing to this guy, right? you could be the gift by saying something that's gonna like you do, Aaron, shake his mind up. He get a response that he wasn't expecting, and it throw his whole mode off. And you come to realize you done shook him out of all of that, and now y'all having a cordial conversation. But if you wasn't available in the moment and you matched his energy because you read him wrong, now y'all got an explosion.
Thanks.
You know, so we gotta, and that's a not a defense mechanism, but a kind of a protective device where you can use that and arm yourself with it in life, as opposed to just being caught off guard because you ain't paying attention. You ain't available enough, you know? So you can actually keep yourself out of more situations than you would have if you just was walking around bumping through life and then something like that happened, your automatic response kick in instead of being calculated in your mind to know how society is flowing right now. And people will probably walk up on you with some crazy, idiotic, out this way stuff that you didn't even invite just because y'all came in contact. You got to know that. But if you ain't setting yourself up for success, you play right off into their hand and both of y'all get X'd out of the game. Right? So anyway, that's just on another level, but yeah, I think we exhausted the picking sides, man. Unless y'all got anything else, man. Any last parting shots or parting thoughts?
I'm good.
I would say just stay hungry for knowledge, stay hungry for wisdom, and don't get sucked into something before you've done your due diligence, and don't protect your peace, protect your energy. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, right on, right on. Once again, just want to thank y'all for pulling up, being willing to open up and invest in the conversation we just had. And definitely, first and foremost, I want to thank the God of my understanding for allowing this to happen, allowing me to have a voice that's going to speak kudos and blessings on because of his mercy and grace that he showed me every day. And just ask that we just be afforded one more day, keep a hedge of protection around us and our families, and let us continue to strive and discover and expand into the next iterations of ourselves that we can be, and keep on praising him. So with that, we'll catch y'all on the next one. It's been good.
Most def. Y'all stay blessed.